Yo, what it do, man? This is GrindFace and the therapist, man, with a new episode to you. I'm Dimitrius.
And I'm Saniyyah.
We've been together for 28 years, married for 22 or 23, but who's counting? And today's episode is about taking things too personal. So, Saniyyah, start us off with people taking stuff too personal and what we mean by taking stuff too personal.
Why the mic sound so loud?
Because you are loud.
I'm talking about you. Um, we were having a conversation about what is his name?
What is who name? I
The-
don't know about the name, but the thing is it's about people taking things too personal, especially on social media. It's like people want to feel like you're talking about them, but you have no idea they exist. You know what I'm saying?
Are you
It's like,
talking about people that you don't know?
yeah, you don't know, but yet they feel like you're talking about them. But yet, because that's why I guess this society is so quick to cancel this culture because they take everything so personal. It's like, can you laugh? Where's the humor at? It's like humor is gone. It's just everything so serious. Like,
Well, honestly, I think because people sometimes don't have anything to do, right? Um, Going back to what I was saying, the conversation started because I was talking about the rapper. I don't know his name. Someone sent me a DM of a young lady committing suicide. And stuff like that for me, I don't like to see stuff like that because I have compassion for people. Like, I have a heart for people. So sometimes when I see stuff like, for example, I had a kid that I was his therapist in high school, and just randomly, it was crazy because I asked my son about another kid, but he went to school with my client, and he actually thought I was talking about him, but I wasn't even talking. I was talking about somebody completely different. He was arguing with me. Oh no, that's the kid's name. I'm like, nah, I don't. I'm talking about someone else. He's like, but anyways, he just passed away, and it was so crazy how everything like evolved. Like me knowing his sister, never knowing that was his sister, and she came to my office and basically told me he OD'd, and like that messed me up for like a week. Like I had to literally tell myself to get out of that
so
mindset.
why did you take it personal?
I didn't take it personal.
So
So
why
I
does it
didn't
mess
put
you up?
myself because I have a heart for people. And that's the conversation where we're going about. So I was talking about the young lady who committed suicide, and I was telling Demetrius that I told someone don't send me stuff like that because I have a heart for people. Like I feel people's pain when someone is hurting, like it bothers me. And so it's one thing to see things from a different perspective, right? And so many times, like you've heard on our previous podcast, I think we were talking about when I would tell Demetrius to take stuff down. Not that I'm personalize it, but I always try to see all sides of the fence. I've always tried to see it from other people's perspective, not just my own. So it's a difference between seeing others' perspective and personalizing it and taking it on as if it was you.
Well, I'm saying personalize it because yeah, you seen this and don't know these people, but yet it's affecting you in your day. So I say that's taking it personal.
Okay, so wait a minute. So if you saw someone
Yeah,
get harmed.
I see it daily, but I don't take none of it personal. None of it,
Okay,
none of it.
taking it personal. Okay, let's put it in perspective. So taking it personal would be like I would never, and you're taking it on like you're putting yourself in that person's shoes. Not to say that's a bad thing, but it's a bad thing when it impairs functioning. But it's a difference when you have a heart. Everybody has different
You
gifts.
gotta have a heart, but when you constantly bringing it up, I feel like you taking it
No,
personal.
okay, with
You know
the
what I'm
with the
saying?
kid for a week, that was my client. So it wasn't like this was just some random
Okay, that's okay.
stranger.
I
Like
understand
I
that. There
knew
was some
this
type of
kid.
attachment there, but people that you don't know from nothing off the internet and taking it personal.
No,
That's what we
I think you
talking
should have
about.
compassion. I don't think you should
Compassion
you
is
should
one thing,
I
but
don't
taking
think you
stuff personal
I
that
don't
you don't know these people
I
and
don't
it's affecting your
think
day.
you
That's
should allow it to continuously affect your day. But for me to be in the field that I'm in and for it not to affect me, I would basically think you shouldn't be in this field because to be a therapist, you have to have compassion for people. Not to say that it should impair your functioning to where you're thinking about it all the time. you got to think like this. I'm in session with clients that I hear stuff that would blow people's mind, right? And so to hear that, when I'm in a session, I'm in a session. When I go home, I don't bring it home, I check out. Like I disconnect. But there's certain stories in session that I've heard that it affected me. So there are certain stories that maybe I shouldn't have read the letter to her boyfriend. I think that's what messed me up. But there's certain things that because it that affect me because then I'm thinking like, dang, and I'm just analyzing it, analyzing the thought process, trying to think about, what was going through her head, what so that's my mindset. And yes, I have to tell myself, Saniyyah, turn it off and separate. Not to the point where I'm gonna be crying. Well, there's times I didn't cry, but at the end of the day, and also turned around and pray for them and their family too. Because I just feel like, you and I are different in the sense of, I'm not gonna say you're cold, but
I don't let stuff. I don't personalize stuff. I get a lot of crazy graphic content, and I'm not going like, "Oh my gosh, dang."
sometimes you do need to
You
be
know what I'm
like, oh my
saying?
gosh. Sometimes you do need to be like, dang, like maybe I shouldn't post this, or dang, maybe if somebody saw, like, we're not gonna say
I
who.
don't post it. You know what I'm saying? So, some of the stuff is real graphic, and but I don't. It doesn't affect me. I don't know. I guess because dealing and seeing it so
Okay. Oh,
much,
I'm glad you
I
said
don't. It
this.
doesn't
I'm glad you
process to
said
me
this. So
like
you
that.
said, why are people so personal?
Personalized.
I don't think you should I don't think you should hop on people's statuses, arguing with them about their life. That type of stuff is crazy because it's none of your business. People say, well, they shouldn't have put it on there. I'm not gonna get personally in your life. It's not that serious. But I want to go back to what you said. In society today, too many people take things personal. To me, in my opinion, in society today, people are desensitized to where when they do see something, there is no compassion. That's why you can watch a 16-year-old kid knock out a 60-year-old woman
You
and
know
steal her
what? No,
purse
you know
and
what?
not
Hold on, I
care.
got it because the perfect thing happened to me the other day. I posted this, and you saying desensitized, but I think they pick and choose what they desensitize. It was a video of this blind lady singing, and I said something about I said the caption said, I love the eye contact she's giving the audience. Yet everybody was pissed off and personalized it, and just
That's
really
different.
upset.
That's
But yet
different.
they have no problem seeing a black man get murdered on the street, a person getting beat up. But yet everybody's
Okay.
upset because I said she's giving great eye contact to the audience. It's like people pick and choose of what,
Well, I
you know
think
what I'm
that's just
saying?
nitpicking. I think there's a difference when someone not being able to take a joke. But then you also got to understand too
And that's
who
what I was
no,
saying. Where's the humor at?
but then you got to also understand, is the joke, whose expense is it at?
It wasn't at the expense because the person that posted the video wanted people to point out the eyes. That's why they made a video like
Okay.
that. You know what
So
I'm
there's a
saying?
difference between a joke and then there's a difference between seeing, okay, for example, I remember, a family member told me that
But
they're
hold on, not to cut you because this just popped in my mind. It's a
what?
difference from a joke and bullying somebody. But nobody felt like Chris Rock was wrong for picking on Jada in the audience. Like I said, people pick and choose.
Well, okay. Now let me circle back to that because you're gonna make me forget. So basically, they were saying that like their friends was beating up a homeless person, and to me, I got mad because at the end of the day, it's like we are so desensitized to, having compassion for people that we don't. I don't never want to become to the point where I see something and I don't feel something like I'm like hollow. I don't ever want to become that person. I don't want to ever be the person where I'm crying and it's affecting my everyday life. But
But look, I'm that person in real life,
what do you
not
mean?
on social media. You know what I'm saying? Like if I see somebody getting jumped on the street, I'm the type I'm gonna help. But on social media, that's a different story. You can't do nothing. Your comment doesn't change nothing.
Okay, but we're going back to what I was saying about the girl that basically committed suicide, and it bothered me. Just her note alone when she said life is overrated. It made me think of, some people are here and
But
will never
but
fulfill the
if you knew
gratification of life.
it was gonna bother you, why read it?
That's the thing. I didn't know what they were sending me, and that's why I sent them a message and say, "Hey, don't send me stuff like this." Because I have a heart for people, and there's certain stuff that if I see or if I read, it is gonna bother me. And I know that. That's why I don't be on social media like that all the time. Because you got to understand, again, to be in my field, for me to be disconnected, to not have a heart for people, I'm definitely in the wrong field. But going back to what you said about Jada, I always go to intent. Was the intent because okay, you could say a joke, and that's why I always tell people, at whose expense are you telling the joke? Because I don't think consciously he was thinking I'm being malicious when I'm telling this joke, right? I think he thought, it would just come off as a joke. And that's why I have a heart for people, and I always have to be always try to be mindful of perspective of, okay, this may be funny to me, this may be entertaining to me, but is this entertaining or funny to the other person? You're not going to think about that.
I'm not.
Exactly. So then why do you feel like they should think that basically he was wrong? I don't think he was wrong. I think it was a misjudgment of a joke, but I don't think he stood up there and was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to maliciously say this about her. This man had no idea she had alopecia, she was going through what she was going through. But that's why
But he did. He
how,
did.
How do you know?
Because they old friends and used to hang out. So it came out that he did know her
Check
health
this out.
issues.
You have people you hang out with and they don't know anything about me. It's not like this man is probably sitting with.
Well, besides the point.
Yeah, because let's not go there. Who sits there and like, oh yeah, my wife did it. Like
you talking about how people can take shit personal and put themselves in something like somebody's talking directly to them. I mean, like say you post a meme and somebody just stroll and feel like, oh shit, they talking about me. Fuck you, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Now they pissed off because it touches them. It's just like, okay, oh man.
But if someone
they throwing subliminals,
if
like
something is okay, if somebody's writing or reading something and they take it personal like it's about them, that's because there's an insecurity. Like I tell people this all the time when I'm dealing with women or females with self-esteem issues. The only way, if somebody called me ugly, that's laughable to me, right? Because I look at myself in the mirror every day. I know what I look like. I know I'm not ugly. But if somebody tells you you're ugly and it makes you feel some type of way, because in reality, deep down inside, some of that of what they're saying you think is true about yourself. So they're only validating or confirming what you already think. And so when somebody writes something on social media that you respond or react to like that, is because it's something within you that already feels like it's confirmation. Because if somebody says something that you don't feel like applies to you, it's not going to resonate with you. You're not going to care.
True. But what do you think? Why? The reason why people take it personal?
I just said it because there's something internally.
I wasn't listening.
Yeah,
Let me give you a corner on that one then.
Whatever.
You know what I'm saying?
You always got jokes.
I got sidetracked.
So then you heard what I said.
I heard that basically something inside of them feel like they ugly. So when somebody is dressing something about ugly, it touches them.
Yeah, because if it didn't apply to you, you wouldn't care. It's stuff people say that I'd be like, yeah, okay, it don't apply to me. And even if you feel that way or say that, okay, you bougie. Okay, I think I'm very down to earth. You think okay. You know what I'm saying? This is I don't take it personal because, I know that's not a reflection of me. It's not confirmation for me because I already know who I am.
So it's basically you need some self-confidence. If you have self-confidence, whatever people say, it's like they say, I'm rubber, you glue, everything you say bounce off me, stick to you.
Yeah, I just think too, and then you got to think like this too. It's two different type of people on social media. There's certain people that's looking for entertainment and positivity, and then you got some people that just, they don't have anything better to do with their time.
The trolls. And those are the people that I feel bad for, because for a grown man to make a troll page and talk shit to other people behind a fake page, I feel sorry for you.
But this is the thing. I'm not going to even respond to a fake page, because if you're not confident enough to talk to me behind a real page with a real photo with a real identity, that tells me you're not even confident enough to speak to me based on for me to know who you really are. So why would I even waste that's a joke to me within itself. And that's what I'm saying. Somebody had put like something. Do y'all remember when she used to be a doctor? I'm like, used to be. Okay. You can't used to be something, but you went and did it behind a fake page because you didn't want anyone to know it was you. To me, that's like cowardly. So it's not going to even get a reaction out of me. Well, it ain't going to get a reaction out of me anyways, because at the end of the day, I know what I am. I know what I've accomplished. I know my credentials. I know my degrees. So it really doesn't matter.
It don't.
But yeah, you have to have compassion. So I don't like when you say, "Oh, well, you're personal." No, I'm not personalizing it. I have a heart. It's a difference.
Okay, point made. Everybody, y'all get that. It's the difference between compassion, having a heart, and taking things personal.
Yeah, it's completely different. I mean, I would want someone to see something and be like, "Dang, just a little bit of their heart is moved." How do you think things are changed? Things are not changed with people that don't care. Things are changed. Initiatives happen. Activists take, you know,
Now, no, since
when
you
it's
talk
something
about
that
change,
resonates with their heart,
okay,
they're
now,
compassionate
yeah,
about
because
it
I see a lot of people do compassionate things, and like they do stuff.
and show it.
They do stuff, yeah, and show it, like for
That's
the
not
homeless and
compassion. That's
feeding
not
the homeless. But
compassion.
why? It's a double
No,
standard
that's
because
not
you can
compassion.
inspire somebody else to do
That's
something.
not compassion.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a
Hold on,
double
hold on, hold
sided
on. Okay,
story.
let me tell you something. I'm not gonna say that it's not compassion. I misspoke. So let me say this. When you're doing it to be seen, because I do a lot of stuff people would never know about, right? But it's between me and that person. But when you do stuff to be seen, you have to question your motive. Am I
True.
doing this because I want recognition, or am I doing this because let me
But
tell you
sometimes it's
something.
not about recognition, it's about inspiring the next person to do something.
Okay, so let's, for example, homeless guy like 2 weeks ago told me he was hungry. Come on, I'm about to buy you something to eat. Do I need to pull out my camera for that?
I mean, no. But if you want to inspire somebody else to do it,
I don't
you
listen,
know what I'm
listen,
saying?
listen, listen. I don't
But you
care.
say change.
No, no,
Where
no, no,
I
no,
mean,
no, no,
yes,
no.
change can start with
Let me
yourself, but
let me
you
tell you
also
this.
inspire, ignite a
Okay,
flame and start
the
change.
people in the Panera Bread that saw me take out my car and pay for this homeless guy to eat, they were inspired. They should have been inspired. If they not, they probably wasn't. But my point is, the people that were there in this moment, right? Jesus is my example, even though there wasn't social media back in the day, but he never went out and broadcasted what he did. Because this is my thing.
But he did. He
Listen,
did it in a group of people so they could go spread the word.
you
So
know
now
what?
we utilize social media so we can say
No,
spread the
no,
same
no.
word.
Let you
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you keep cutting me
Like
off.
shit.
You keep cutting me off and not let me say what I'm gonna say. The thing is, when you walk with integrity and based on your character, you won't have to show video because people will hear about you based on your good deeds. People have heard about me before I even met them. Before I even walked in the room, and they ever like laid eyes on me because of people have told them about me and the type of person I was. So inspiration can come in many ways,
But
but
how many people? You could reach
that's not
way
my
more
point.
people. It's
But
a new age of time.
okay,
This
but
is what
then
I'm saying. It's a new age of
that
time.
goes back to what are you doing it for? So I'm doing it because out the goodness of my heart because this man was hungry.
This is
I
back in,
don't care not if you're
but
inspired because
this
I'm
is
not doing it to try to inspire you.
times has changed. Times have changed. If you don't get involved with the time changing, it's like back in the day when Jesus, of course, they didn't have cell phones and text.
Okay,
They
let's
could
get away
spread the
from
words.
Jesus. But
Okay. And back in your days and when they didn't have, they had pagers. But so now we got the internet and you could reach so many more people and inspire them like, damn, she fed the homeless. I'm about to go feed the homeless around my corner. So sometimes it could help
no,
inspire
sometimes
more
it can
people.
help. Sometimes it can help. Let's say like you had a campaign to feed 5 million people or five people, like the dude that and that was cutting the hair and doing motivational like I guess speeches, speaking to the people he was cutting their hair. That's inspirational, right? This is what he does. So I'm not saying every time somebody is being filmed.
No, I'm saying if you're doing it every single time, that's like, come on, you doing it like,
Well, that's what I'm
you know what I'm saying?
saying.
But
Like,
because I'm getting to the point of basically everybody, all you do is post negativity and this and that. But when you post something positive like that, all they about is the negative comments of why you filming yourself, why you doing this. But yet he's doing something positive of feeding the homeless community. But yet people still want to be negative about
was
it.
that just a video or something?
No, it was. I mean, it was some old videos, but at the end of the day, every video with some positivity, people always want to find and pick at something and complain about.
That's because, again, that's an inner issue. You're always negative. That's mindset. Because everything I don't know, it's just like I see social media, somebody can have something positive, and it's like this is like what, 3 weeks ago when the lady on social media kept trying to like antagonize me to get me to go back and forth
Oh
with her.
yes,
Like,
yeah,
God bless you. I ain't got time for this. Like,
yes,
and
and
kept tagging me into like, girl,
she
I don't
went
even have time for this.
she went high, and I was about to go low, and I was waiting for her to say something because woo, them lips, boy.
Yeah, but see, I can't. I don't even have the energy to go there with you. And then what you saying is so foolish and it don't even make sense. And that's what I'm saying. Some people want to basically
They
bait you
thrive off. They
into,
thrive off
yeah,
at the
bait you
negativity.
into arguments. So it's like, girl, I don't even have time for you for this. This is crazy. That's why I'm like, just delete the post, block her, because I don't have time for it. And that's one thing I love about social media. You have the option to hit the block button. Like, I don't have to see what you're doing. You don't have to see what I'm doing. Just get off my page and keep it moving.
Hey man, that's a coin. Look, some of y'all utilize that block button. If they too much positivity coming down your timeline, you don't want to see it, hit that block button.
The crazy thing is when you post something on GrindFace and they'll go all the way to my page and like look for a random something and then like, dude, you did all that for what?
You gotta love the internet though. Shout out to all the trolls that be trolling me. I appreciate y'all engagement. Thank you. But let's get back to general topic of taking things personal. Even we could even go to real life. I mean, what we go to
Social
real
media
life.
is real life.
I mean, yeah, but let's talk about something like personal, like in real life.
When family members put stuff on social media and people think it's about them.
But then we could go there with family, but it revolves back to social media. I guess everything today's time
Okay, we'll
revolves
talk.
back
Well,
to
then what
social
else?
media.
Well, then
You know
what
what I'm
else? Not
saying?
necessarily. I think it depends on how you live your life because social media doesn't. It's probably like a 5% part of my life. I think it just depends on you.
Okay, so what you got in something personal that takes the 95% of your life?
I think even in the sense of like,
Let's do business.
no. We'll get to business later. I want to touch bases on this. Let's say, oh, for example, I get this all the time. People be like, oh, your wife is mean. Or people think I'm arrogant. Or they think I'm a bitch. Or
A
they,
bitch. Just say, baby. Sorry to the viewers that can't spell. Well, I just said it for y'all. Thank you.
or, they always have like, oh, she has an attitude. And it's like, you're personalizing that I have something against you, but why that just can't be my personality. I'm not the type like to just go into a crowd of people and start running my mouth. I've never been like that. I always observe. I'm always quiet. I'm always to myself. If I rock with you personally, or
Yes,
you
I
better
could
chances.
validate that because we being serious, and then that's why I like her around me because she would sit back and analyze and watch everybody movements and everything. She ain't that type that's gonna be all up in your face and all that.
No, the only way you'll be better off getting a conversation with me is one on one. But people need to, look at it from again another perspective and stop always personalizing when someone is quiet or when someone is not talking or
They
when you
probably just feel like you being antisocial.
but what makes but
Why you got to be social?
that's just what I
You
was
know
about
what
to
I'm
say.
saying?
But why do I have to be social? I'm not a social person unless I know you. You know, there's no point for me to just I mean, I'm nice, hi, and how you doing and all that. But people really need to stop personalizing that someone is offending them or don't like them or doing something to them based on them just minding their own business.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's funny because it's like certain settings I could go with you and I could just be off to the corner to myself, enjoying myself, doing what I'm doing, and people probably be thinking like, "Damn, he's just antisocial. He won't." But you know what I'm saying? That's just me.
You know, it's crazy because we're all like that. You're like that. I'm like that. The kids are like that.
But I'm having a good time. I enjoying
Right.
myself. But some people probably would look like, "Damn, he's over there irritated, ready to go," type shit.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
as a
saying? It's
matter of
like,
fact,
no, I'm enjoying myself.
that was. Remember, it's like, oh, they thought you was drunk out your mind, and I'm like,
Yeah, I'm
what?
just
I was
minding
kind of
myself.
irritated by that, like, what? Like,
Yeah,
just
first of
be,
all, I don't get drunk around strangers.
but again, it's annoying when people personalize your actions because they don't know you,
Yeah,
or they
exactly.
make an assumption that you're doing something that you're not even doing. It's like what? Like when people be like, "Oh, she's rude." I'm like, "Huh?" Like I'm the most coolest person you'll ever come across. But it's like because I didn't interact with you in a way that you thought I should interact with you, you personalized it and just put a jacket on me.
Yes. Did the jacket fit?
Not at all.
No.
I've been getting that jacket for years, but it used to bother me, and now I'm just like, hey, it is what it is, because I'm never gonna. And this is why I love looking at things from everybody's perspective. I never walk in a room and be like, like, nah, I'm gonna analyze you. I'm gonna study. I'm not gonna just assume, oh, this person they're rude. Nah, they just may not want to interact with you, and they have all right not to.
True. True.
So get to the business. I just had to say that, like how we personalize how people's demeanors are, their characteristics are, and we just are their mannerisms, and we take it personal, like they have something against us when in reality they're not even worried about you.
So we going into business and personalized with business. I seen I was listening to a podcast or a post or something. I forgot directly what the post I posted. So it says basically you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times people feel like because they family, friends, and they try to bring that relationship when it comes to business. It's like, yeah, we cool, but this is business. So we're gonna have to have a contract. We're gonna have to have certain things lined up because when the friendship falls out or something, the business will still be straight. So that's what to separate taking things personal. It's nothing against you if I ask you to sign a contract before we work. What do you think?
My friend told me that. I remember the first time I spoke at one of her engagements. She pulled out a contract, and I was like, I had to respect it though. It actually made me move the way she moved. And she was like, I never want our friendship to be, you know, end based on a disagreement that we have. So this contract is basically to make sure we stay intact as friends because everything is in writing. And then even with business, she'll basically do emails. She said, I like to do emails because we can always go back to see what was said.
Yes, and text.
And no, she ain't doing no text
Text
when
is
it comes to
email.
business, straight emails. And I agree with her because I delete my texts. I want it all in emails. But it made me level up as a business owner and as just being a business minded person, period. Because she was right. I couldn't even get mad at her. I actually respected it, and I started telling you, hey, we need to do these contracts. Because at the end of the day, what she was saying is true. So for me, I'm always, again, different perspectives. I could have took that personal and like, oh, she don't trust me. But no, what she was saying made
They
sense.
do because people want to switch up later in the game. I'm gonna give you a prime example right here. Friday. You know what I'm saying? Ice Cube got the cast, paid them probably $500 to act and everything. So now that the movie blows up, they feel like they deserve more money. But you got what you negotiated.
But even in the sense of we don't know if he knew that movie was going to be as big as it was, you know. And this is one thing that bothers me in business. The business owner is the one that
Taking
puts
a
out
risk.
all. They're the ones that's typically taking a risk. They're the one because if it didn't do good, he's out of money, right? He's out of, and people never see it that way. Even watching Irv
Murder Inc.
Gotti, yeah,
Yes.
his documentary with the Ashanti thing, people were like, "Oh, he should give her masters." But when you look at it from a business perspective, like
Irv built her.
I ain't gonna say that,
He
but
built
what
her.
I'm gonna say this: you got to look at it from his perspective. Everything that he poured into, everything that he did, right?
All the
And
risks he took.
he took the risk, and that's the part that people fail to realize. It's like, oh, well, you should know. Like, if my business fails today, I'm the one that's taking the risk. You gonna go apply for another job. You gonna go somewhere else, but it's me that's left standing, holding the bill or holding what I need to put back together.
So this don't take it personal. It's a business.
Yeah, don't take it. You shouldn't take it personal, and that's what I'm saying. You only take it personal when you're selfish because you can never see it from another person's perspective. Selfish people take everything personal
Ooh,
because
that's
they
a
only
coin
they
right
only
there.
see things from their own lens.
Selfish people take
Thing
everything
personal,
personal.
they do because they can never see what somebody else is feeling, what somebody else is thinking, what somebody else is going through. Like, let's say, for example, somebody don't hit me up, I text them. My initial thought is most people, oh, I'm not dealing with them, they didn't hit me up.
They could be busy. They could be
my
going through their own
my
issues.
first thought would be if I deal with somebody and they don't hit me up, they must be going through something. Let me pray for them. Let me reach out. Let me send a card. Let me do something to let them know I'm here if they need me. I'm not gonna be like, oh, they didn't. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Why do we take it so personal instead of saying, hey, this person is a human. I don't know what this person is dealing with. I don't know what this person. And see, people they think I'm crazy because I'm an ass. I'm like, hey, you acting funny? What's going on? I'm
Yeah, most people ain't gonna. I'll
always
be telling her you just
ask.
wasting your breath because most people ain't gonna admit it. They gonna lie.
But this is my thing.
I
If
asked.
this
Yeah.
is my thing. If you have a problem with me, anybody around me knows me. Like I'm going to come to the source. I'm going to the source. So if you be like, I tell people, don't tell me such and such said. If if you don't want me to say anything, because I don't do the such and such said without confronting the such and such and what happened, because that's what you're saying. I'm always going to go to the source, right? I'm always going to give you the opportunity to explain yourself so we can be on the same page, right? Now, if you lie based on what I'm asking you and I brought it to you and you choose to lie, that's on you, but I brought it to you.
On you. She asked. I
I'm
agree.
always ask.
I agree. You got to ask the source. And sometimes it just be a
Yeah,
misunderstanding.
it'd be a misunderstanding.
Because
But if
some
I don't
people,
ask you,
because
that
the
means I
funny
don't
thing,
care.
some people take it the way they want to take it and then push it along down the road. What's that old game? This used to be like telephone or some shit. That one person says something, by the time we get to the end, it's a whole different story.
But even to that, if this, I have a problem with a person having an issue with me and telling everybody with me, right? And at that point, I'm probably not going to care. Because if I have an issue with you, I'm not going to tell everybody else. And if I happen to tell somebody, I'm definitely coming to you with it. So you cannot personalize something until you even see if it's factual. People be falling out with people and don't even know what they're thinking or feeling is even true or correct.
What they're going through. Some people really be going through issues, and people want to take it personal, like, oh, they ain't talking to me, they ain't,
And
but
then
they having their own issues.
and then you'll have situations too. Let's say we're in the house right now. Somebody walk in here. It's 10 other people in here. Somebody throw their jacket down, roll their eyes, and sit down. Somebody come to me, hey, Saniyyah, did you see what she just did? She got a problem with you. Now, if I just took that based on what that person said and personalized that, now I got a problem with this person without even speaking to this person, without even asking. I just personalized the situation.
Then Jay just had a rough day.
It ain't even about you. And that's many times what's going on. But again, it's an inner issue. Selfish people always take things personal because they can't look outside of themselves.
They need to put that on a t-shirt.
Should I coin that?
DJ, throw her a coin.
That ain't the type of coin I meant. Should I trademark it? I'm being funny.
A moment of silence for all the hurt feelings out there. We gonna pray for y'all.
No, I just think stop personalize it. This whole conversation started because I was saying, just analyzing the situation with the young lady and talking about the part when she said life is overrated.
And I just brought it up because she kept talking about it all goddamn day. It's like, how many
Now
times you gonna bring it up? I said, okay, that's enough.
Day.
Like, goodness.
But
every time you had a spare moment, you brought the story
that's
up.
A lie.
That's how I knew, like, okay,
that's a lie.
I don't want to hear it. Because when I got the post, I didn't even read it.
That's a lie.
Like,
so
okay,
that was my third. Okay. I brought it up, I think, last night after I read it because I didn't know who he was. I didn't know, you know what I mean? A lot of times I don't even know what's going on social media. I told
the people die every day, B.
What? Anyway, so last night I brought it up, and not even 3 times. Then just now I brought it up because I was just sitting here thinking in my staff meeting this morning.
Hey, you just brought it up again.
No, so what? In my staff meeting this morning, me and another staff member, because we're doing these back to school mental health assemblies, and one of the parts that we're discussing is suicide. And so it came up. And so when I was talking to the staff and he was telling me different things, it brought it up again. And I'm just thinking, when she said life is overrated, and then I start thinking from a different perspective. And I'm like, why do we just assume everybody that's living should be happy? Maybe life to some people is overrated, And so just thinking of it from other people's perspective, because then my mind start thinking about, does that mean they're depressed? Like, I'm not scared of death, right? And when I tell people I'm not scared of death because I know who I am and whose I am, it doesn't scare me. People are like, you're crazy, because most people are scared of death. But does that mean I'm wrong because I'm not scared of death? Does that mean I'm wrong because I'm not saying life is overrated? And so it just made me think of it from a different perspective. Like, everybody in life is not going to enjoy life. Does that mean we just put depression on them? Not to say that she wasn't. I don't know if she was or she was. I'm just looking at it for if somebody came to me and was like, hey, like, I don't really like life. Like, some people be like, hey, I really don't like being an adult.
Because I could get what you're saying, because some people could live with that, just like you in a marriage and you're not happy in your marriage, but you stay in that marriage. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand what the point you're coming from. Like if you don't, if life is overrated, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like some
Doesn't
people say
mean, you know what I'm saying?
sex
Yeah.
is overrated. Does
Yeah.
that mean something is wrong with them? No, they just may not like sex like that. And so it just made my mind start processing like, why do we think because when people don't think like us that it's abnormal or something is wrong? You know, you have people like they don't like being an adult. They don't like the responsibility that comes with being an adult because life is not an easy journey. But does that mean that there's something wrong with me or does that mean I'm processing and I'm analyzing what this life brings? I remember at one point I was like, dang, I should have never had kids. Not because I don't love my kids, but I just start thinking like all the stuff they have to endure in this life, you know, is so chaotic, it's so crazy, it's so demonic. And so that's where my mind was going, is why I brought it up again when he is like, oh, you need to stop personalizing it. I wasn't personalizing it. I was trying to see it from her perspective and
So
through her
so
lens.
so so if a family member tells somebody life is overrated, you shouldn't a red flag shouldn't pop up or
I'm no,
what?
no, no, no. I'm not saying a red flag should pop up, but I think you should have a conversation. I'm not saying that she wasn't depressed. I don't know her. I don't know if she was or not. That could be depression. But let's say an older person, they may say they done lost their mate. They've been single all their life. They're 80, 90 years old. They like, I'm ready to go. Are they wrong to say that? They may really be ready to go.
I mean, shit, they lived the life. I mean,
But even if you 25, like it all depends on your thought process behind it. Of
but
course, I'm gonna go spiritually.
wouldn't that be considered of now we got to put you on suicide watch because you saying you're ready to go? I mean, you could really kill yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't think anybody should kill themselves. I always think that's the plot of the enemy is spiritual. The enemy is always
But
gonna
they
want to
already
take
got
you
their
out.
mind. If you're already thinking, I'm ready to
Right,
go.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's
That's
what
a
I'm saying.
one
It's too
step
no no no
before.
no
You know
no
what I'm
no no.
saying?
It's listen to what I'm saying. To take your life, obviously, that's completely spiritual, right? The enemy has basically tricked you and gamed you to believe that you don't need to be here.
That you're not valuable.
And a person like that, I always go back from a spiritual perspective. You had to be a major threat and impact in this world for God, for the enemy to try to psych you out and take you out. I'm going to always believe that. Because if you wasn't, he wouldn't care. You wouldn't be a threat to go. He wouldn't try to take you. But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that a person goes and killed himself. That was just that situation. I'm saying, like, if a person was having a analytical conversation, like I'm saying, I'm not scared to death. I don't have to be on suicide watch because I'm not going to go kill myself, but I'm letting you know death doesn't
So
scare me.
basically, a conversation, not a person that doesn't get out the bed and
No,
stay
I'm
in the
not talking
room,
about
and then
somebody
they
that's
saying
depressed.
certain
No,
phrases
I'm
and
not
stuff.
saying that
Like
somebody, I'm just saying, like, if somebody was
have a
like,
general conversation.
yeah, hey, you know, life is not fulfilling without depressive thoughts, and they're really having a, because there's people out here that really believe that. That doesn't mean they're gonna go jump off a building. That just means they're analyzing and they're processing like, hey, life is not fun for me. Because you got to think like this. Happiness is an inner issue, right? That's internal. A lot of times we look for external stimuli, entertainment, social media, a relationship, food.
GrindFace TV.
Yeah, we look for external stimuli. So happiness comes from within. But sometimes,
That stimuli word sounds sexy as mug. Say it
oh
again.
my goodness.
Say stimuli.
No. So forget it. You just made me forget my train of thought.
Not sidetracked. Don't get mad at me. It's just stimuli. I mean, you love using them big words around me, like you
That's
know what
not
I'm
a big
saying? It's
word.
stimuli. She's right now. We want to take a moment because she's trying to regain her thoughts because I sidetracked her.
Because you went all into that.
Because I just that's what I was thinking when you said it and you kept saying it. Goodness. So get back what you were saying. I mean, goodness.
So basically, what I was saying is happiness is internal, right? That's something that someone can't give you happiness. A object or a possession cannot bring you happiness. It's something that comes from within. But there are some people that they just may not be happy, right? And they have to find that. But what I'm saying is to have a thought provoking conversation, like I feel like we're having now, until you brought up the whole sexy stuff. Um, does that mean I'm wrong? Because I'm like, yeah, I'm not scared of death. No, it just means that I'm not. So I don't think we should label people. And that's again, that's an isolated incident. I'm not referring to that. I don't know that girl. That something is abnormal or something is wrong about this person because they think different from societal norms. Because again, like I said about my kids, when you look at this world, it's like,
It's chaotic to some and it's normal to others.
True.
You know what I'm saying? It's all
And
about
then it's
what boat you
peaceful,
on.
and it's peaceful to others. Because let me say this, and I want to be clear: my life is peaceful, but my life is peaceful because I believe life is simple. We just make it complicated because your worldview is based on your lens and how you view things, and that's
What
why.
you intake.
There
Yes.
you go, and that's why I don't like certain stuff in my spirit. I don't like to watch certain stuff, hear certain stuff because it does something to me spiritually. So when you say don't personalize, I'm not personalizing. Like even with certain stuff, like when the situation when they were rioting and Black Lives Matter, when all them those deaths were happening, like I had to turn that off, like because it started putting me in a certain headspace. Like I was getting angry. I'm like, look, this is enough. I know enough to understand what's going on in the world, but I also know I don't have to swallow and eat everything that's coming on TV.
You know your limits. You need to control your limits. It's like being a drinking. You know your limits, so you should control how much you
I think you
intake.
should always be aware of what's going around you, but I don't think you should consume it so much that that's all that you're intaking. You need to learn to turn stuff off so you don't personalize it. Because when I was watching that stuff, I was becoming, and I had to say, Saniyyah, check this out. Like you live in a world full of chaos, you know what's going on, what it is, but at the end of the day, you cannot let this in your spirit. And that even goes back to like our last podcast, that access. You can't even give information access to you to basically be in your mind like that, to basically take over your emotions. And that's why I can say I'm at peace, because I don't allow myself to feed myself certain stuff. And people be like, oh, you're oblivious, you just want to close your eyes and
No,
turn a
because
blind eye.
that's like some
Like, no,
people
I'm
say
aware
they
of what's
don't.
going on.
Some people say they don't watch the news. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't want to know what's going on. It's
I
all
want to be
negativity.
aware of what I need to be aware of, right? But once you're aware of it, you don't have to keep watching it over
In
and
every point of
over
view,
and
yeah.
over and over, because at some point it's going to take an emotional toll where some emotion is going to come out. Some emotion is going to be felt, and it's like, for me to have peace, I don't need, even when there's certain things is happening to Christians around the world or they're being persecuted, I intake so much and then I give it back to God. And then I go pray about it, because at the end of the day, I can't let that type of stuff overwhelm me. And just being in the field that I'm in, we see a lot. We hear a lot. And I had to even get to the point where I could basically, after a session, turn it off and go. Because my clients, they share stuff with me. I'm a person. I want to see my clients win. I'm not just sitting there like, oh, I'm just listening to their life stories. Like, no, I genuinely care and want to see them win. And so I may pray for them after a session. They don't know I'm praying for them, but I always want to see them, thrive and have the best. So it's some stuff that I'm like, man, you know what I mean? And I had to learn to separate it. But when I was a therapist in the beginning of my career, I couldn't. And it was days I went home crying. I remember when I worked at this was before I was a therapist. I wanted to adopt a kid. Then I had
Oh
to
yeah,
think
I'm
like
like, you better go sit your ass
then
down.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't
Like,
bring this kid into my home with my kids. I had to
oh
use
man, she
logic.
ain't lying too, because she did want to bring this little boy home. I'm like, you better get the hell out of here.
And I had to use reason. Like, okay, like, he's going through some stuff, but then how's that going to be detrimental and affect my kids? But I'm always wanting to see people heal and, to see them do better. But yeah, but I don't think you should personalize it again. But you have to have compassion. And it scares me. Let me tell you something. Without compassion, you can go blow somebody's brains out and not care. Without compassion, you could basically knock out a 60-year-old woman and not care. Without compassion, you basically can molest a kid and not care. And that's why I'm like, you always got to have some sense of compassion, because compassion will stop you. Trust me, when I was living a life, it's a whole lot of stuff that people would have got it. Trust me, like for real, for real. But my heart wouldn't let me do it. My heart wouldn't let other people do it, because that compassion always kept me grounded. Like, I can't do that.
Amen.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we're going on that one. That compassion. She went deep on compassion, y'all. That could have been a whole podcast topic, compassion instead of personal. She done personalized this and turned this to compassion.
Because I do think you need to have
Yes, you
compassion.
need. If everybody had compassion, it wouldn't be crime around here.
And that's the problem. People don't like to, if you can walk up to somebody and blow their brains out, and I think that's scary to me. Like nothing in you, like
But
you
but
just
wouldn't that fall into some of it is mental illness?
Everything ain't mental illness.
And
Now I
some of
get tired.
this,
I'm in the
so
mental health field.
the
No,
walking up to somebody and blow their head off is not part of some type of mental illness that person going through. Like, come on now.
listen. There's people it's a disrespect to people that are suffering with mental health issues and they thrive every day and they make the conscious effort to make the right
Everybody's not the
decisions.
same. Everybody's
Listen,
not the
everybody's
same.
not the same. But some people are consciously making decisions to do what they want to do.
Because something that hurt
Everything,
them that they dealing with is making them make
no,
that decision.
listen, let's say I got angry, right? What that ain't mental health issues, that's critical thinking skills to where you get so angry that you just stop thinking, right?
Because something triggered you to get that angry.
Okay,
That's the point. Something triggered you to get that angry.
Something did trigger you. But some things you just need to learn critical thinking, problem solving
Okay,
skills.
but where's the
so
compassion
basically,
at? Where's the compassion at?
okay, for example, you getting beat up, right? But I'm old school. You get beat up, you come back, you fight. That video with the girl, she's getting beat up and not even getting beat up bad. I think she was more embarrassed than beat up. You at work, you pull out your gun and start shooting this lady because she beat you up. You that mad because she beat you up?
I mean,
and she didn't even beat you up.
But we don't know her history. She probably got abused by her mom or her daddy or something.
That is
we don't
true.
Know what triggered her.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying?
We don't know her background. It could be associated to a mental health issue. But what I'm saying is everything that happens in crime is not a mental health issue. I would give it more. I give spiritual more power than mental health. You know what I mean? I just think we feed that to, oh, it's mental health. Like, no. It's you making dumb decisions. Some stuff is you need to be responsible and accountable for your actions. There's people that's riding around thinking who they gonna rob, who they gonna kill, who they gonna this premeditated.
Okay, but I'm not. Robbing is not mental health. No.
Why? Yeah. Why that ain't mental health?
Robbing is just, it falls back to what you were saying. It's selfish. You know what I'm saying? You want what somebody else have without working for it.
Okay, but even trying to shoot somebody is selfish.
To murder somebody over nothing, I think it's some issues with that person.
But you almost murdered a lady behind nothing because I think your pride was bruised because she didn't even beat you up back.
Okay, some of it, but like you just said, we don't know her personal backstory.
We don't know her background.
Because certain things
don't.
I'm gonna go back to you because you over here trying to play that role, but back in your day, you used to say you blacked out.
I blacked out one time.
Okay, you blacked out. So you don't know what triggers and cause that person to black out and do things
but
that
everybody's not blacking out.
They constantly thinking of doing. You know what I'm saying?
Let's be clear. I was in self-preservation mode. This girl was like 3 times bigger than me, way taller than me. So you're exactly right.
But you're blacked out.
But listen, listen to what I'm saying. But listen to what I'm saying. I was in survival mode. So basically,
how you know she wasn't in survival mode? That she just felt like she got beat up and she blacked out and pulled that gun out.
You wasn't in survival mode because you going back and forth with her, right? You running your mouth, you sitting there arguing with somebody.
You don't know what happened when a person go black, Saniyyah.
Listen,
you went black. I'm telling you, you don't know what you're doing when everything is black. So you don't. She probably didn't even know that she grabbed the gun and started popping.
Why do you have a gun at work? Let's start there.
Because it's a rough ass neighborhood. You just say how these people is robbing everything.
Listen. Even for the expensive money, I'm never going to put myself in a situation. If I have to feel like I have to take a gun there, I don't want to be there. If I feel like I have to, and I tell you this all the time, if I feel like you have to carry or we have to be in a position where a gun needs to be in play, I don't even want to be there.
You never know when you need a gun.
You never know. I'm not saying
got popped at church. And I tell you, they wasn't bringing a gun to church.
I'm not saying you shouldn't have it. Because obviously where we at after COVID 2020, the world has just got ballistic. But what I'm saying, if I consciously have to feel like I got to be on edge and I got to be hyper vigilant.
If you constantly feel like some shit might pop off, you shouldn't be there. You know what I'm saying? Because you know when okay, we going through this situation, some shit might pop off. You shouldn't go. You know what I'm saying? But say not to carry a gun. I mean, you got the right to carry a gun. And
you shouldn't have a gun at work.
And you shouldn't have a gun at church. But people died and they didn't have a gun at church.
But
so you never know when these people with mental illness will pop off anywhere.
I'm not saying you shouldn't have a gun at church. But what I'm saying is legally, you shouldn't even have a gun at work.
Apparently, we don't know what state that was, and she was probably all right to carry a gun at that location.
No, ain't no job telling you could carry no gun. Like, come on now. Unless it depends on what type of field you in, you're not carrying no gun Now, I wouldn't have a problem with my therapist if they had concealed and carried. I'm not going to even lie. But the type of field we're in, you don't know what type of person you coming across.
And she didn't know what type of person that came in that store. So you basically validated your reason, but not her reason. It's more people coming through the convenience store than the therapist, and these people coming through the convenience store, and she's a woman.
The difference is at a store, you're basically in the store with multiple people.
But I'm just saying, you can't judge a person why they carrying a gun.
We're not locked in a room. You're one-on-one. If I have an intake and I'm meeting with I don't know who this dude is. I don't know. I mean, we have safety precautions to where everything we are supposed to do. We don't know if this person is hallucinating. We don't know if this person is on drugs. We don't know what type of person we're coming across, and we're directly in a room with this person.
Same thing in the convenience store.
Well, I'm going to agree to disagree, but that's a different story. Not to say that, any of my therapists have guns. Let's just make that clear. But if they had a concealed and carry, it wouldn't be an issue for me.
Y'all hear that? Same thing at the convenience store. But
let me take that back, because let me scratch that, because honestly, I probably would just have like armed security, because putting a gun in somebody's hand, period, you just don't know what they will do and how they react. And some people overreact.
Yes.
For situations that don't make sense.
Or get emotional and take it personal.
No, you should never get emotional and shoot somebody.
Yeah, some people take things personal.
Now, if a therapist got emotional and shot, you should have never been in the field. But then again, that goes back to why I said, no, I would never, I had to retract my statement. Because you know how somebody is professionally. People put on masks, and then you talk to different people and you get an idea of how these people are outside of work. You never know who you're really dealing with. Because again, I'm an employer. You're never really going to show me your true face. So I don't know who you are.
For business, why just hiring an outside agency is just more safer?
Well, we on a whole other time. That don't even matter, because it ain't going to happen at my place of employment. But whatever.
Yeah. See how she took it personal and went to her place of employment?
No, I was just making an example.
Once again, people how they take everything.
Let me be clear. Nothing has ever happened at my place of business. We understand that. I am clearly making an example.
We're just saying how we talking about a certain topic and how people make it personal to them.
No, I'm resonating. I'm relating the Let me tell you something. Everybody's different, right? And so to me, to make a point, and I think, the difference is I'm a speaker, you're not. So when I speak.
I'm speaking right now. Y'all hear me? Okay, my check. Whatever. My check.
When I go out and speak at events, the way I grab the attention of the audience is basically to make them resonate by telling my story. And so to me, I'm a storyteller to basically engage people. So it's not like I'm personalizing it. I'm giving you a visual and example of what I'm saying. Don't do that again.
Got it. Because he was trying to validate that point.
Because you always be trying to take stuff out of context and turn it into something that's completely not.
All right, y'all. So we're going to start wrapping this one up.
Why? It's actually a good topic.
Because much stuff we going to get personal with? Because what else is there personal? We went to business, internet, social media, family. Is there anything else people take personal? Dating? How people take dating personal? They get ghosted?
Yeah, people do take that personal, but I'm not dating. So, I could elaborate on it, but don't really. If you get ghosted when you're dating, I don't think you should take it personal. I think you should take it as a win. You know what I mean? Maybe that wasn't the person you were supposed to be with. And I wouldn't feel bad about myself, because at the end of the day, if this is the type of person that you're dealing with, you may not want to deal with them. Yes. Yeah, so sometimes you got to use logic and reasoning.
If he ghosts you and while y'all dating, most definitely he's gonna ghost your kids.
Well, the person may not even have kids, but the point is, sometimes a closed door is not always a bad thing. It's a good thing. But I was gonna say, taking it personal, with from an employer's perspective. For example, I didn't realize, being an employer, I had to basically delegate my time evenly. People take that personal.
Delegate your time.
You walk in the office, and it's been a problem in the past, and I was just not even thinking of it like that. Oh, she's speaking to this person. This person's a favorite. She's like, what? We're grown, but people really take that personal. Oh, the CEO is in here talking to this person, and they're not talking to me, or they told them hi, and I'm like, But as an employee, as a staff, as whatever, you can't take stuff like that personal. You have to understand that these are probably the best conversation with my son yesterday. We talked like over an hour, and he was like, "Mom, I realize you and Dad, you guys are just people." And I was like, "What?" First, I'm like, "What you
Nah,
saying?"
I told him I'm a god.
No, you ain't no God. God is God. But anyways, he said I had to come to terms with you guys are people, and he said it made me look at you as a person.
We all got flaws.
And he said I had to understand that you guys go through the same things I go, and we had a good conversation. I love my kids. I would sit and talk to my kids for hours. And so that's the same thing like being an employer. You got to understand that employer is a person. And so it's nothing personal. They just may be talking about a certain topic or situation or something that a person is doing. That doesn't mean they like you less. That just means they're having dialogue with someone. And you can't take that personal.
But some places it is favors at the office. I ain't
I don't
gonna
have
lie. You know what
favorites.
I'm saying? Some people could get away with more shit than others. So, you know,
Well,
but not at the office, but I'm saying that certain jobs, because I had a lot of jobs,
but look, but
you know
look,
what I'm
but look
saying?
at the end of the day, what are you there for?
That
Right?
paycheck.
I no. I
No,
either
you
knew
asked me what I'm there for. I'm there for that
it was a
paycheck.
rhetorical question. It wasn't meant for you to answer.
Make sure you put that subtitle up there.
So this is the thing. You have to know what you're there for at a job. I knew when I was there to build, and I knew when I was there just to be there for the moment. And so I've never taken like, oh, this supervisor. I didn't care, because what are you there for? Because if you're worried about how much someone speaks to you, you got to question your own motives.
Amen.
Because why do you care? I've never cared whether a supervisor talked to
Because
me or
some
not.
people like the brown nose. You know, that's what at
And let
my
me tell
job.
you,
I used to see. I never brown nosed. My work performance used to be off the chain. I let my work do my what they say. My work do all the talking. While other people know they ain't good at their job, so they like the brown nose and basically get in good like that. So I'm just saying, like some
and
people,
again,
and so
and
when you don't
again,
give them that thing, they feel like, oh, they
but
ain't.
again,
So it's your
checking your
motives.
Why do you want to talk to this person so much? If I'm having a conversation with you, it's genuine. I don't want anything from you or anything from it. We just having good. First of all, if you know me, I like thought provoking conversations. I will talk to you for hours if you're really talking about something. If it's making me think and inspiring me and provoking thought, right? So you have to go back to your own motive, your selfishness. Why do I want this person to talk to me?
Mm. Let's give y'all coin on that one. Why are you trying to be seen? No, my bad. Why are you trying to be heard and talk?
I don't think you want to be heard. I think a lot of times people want to be and talk to the employer because it's like
The
I want you to see
status.
me. Yeah, but
You want to
but
say your
me as an
status.
employer, the best way you're gonna allow me to see you is through your work ethic. Conversation means nothing.
Amen.
Drop a coin for me one
We're gonna
time.
drop a coin. Somebody gonna be listening to this gonna get hard on the grind. Like shit, I'm gonna work hard.
Yeah, I've
Well,
always
you
you.
gotta respect work ethic though. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
conversation. I don't care how much I like you as a person. If your work ethic is garbage, that's what I'm looking at. You can have the best conversation in the world.
Mm-hmm. But you ain't producing.
You got to produce.
A lot of warehouse jobs I didn't produce. You just got, you know what I'm saying? I just ran the check up and got on to the
So
next.
you're an employee I would never want.
Yeah, I know. I used to do a whole lot of stuff when I used to work.
I never did that. I always pulled my weight and did what I needed
No,
to
I
do.
pulled. Well, you know, it depends on the job of the respect. Warehouse jobs, I already knew they was trying to
Don't
milk
do
me,
that because
so
there's
I'm gonna
somebody
milk
that's
them.
listening right
But
now
you know what I'm
that has
saying?
a
It
warehouse
depends
job.
on what is. I ain't saying nothing bad about warehouse jobs. I'm
Oh,
saying when
okay.
I was at the warehouse and unloading them trailers, I used to milk it, chill, and then produce the production line. But hey, I was working through a temp service, so if I wasn't good enough to get hired on, you wasn't gonna get my full potential of work. That's how I thought.
I don't know. I always thought I'm gonna bring my best foot forward because
I
I.
did that. You know, I ain't gonna lie. I did my best. You know what I'm saying? And my feelings got hurt because they fired me. It was like,
Oh, I remember that.
if
That's
y'all
when I
hit
was
this,
pregnant with
if they hit
Desire.
this production, we gonna hire you on to the company. So I'm out there busting my ass, doing the job, boom, boom. So next
And
thing
I
you
was
know,
pregnant too.
the temp service, we gonna cut y'all and we gonna bring in new temps. I was like, you motherfuckers. And from that day on, I never gave my full potential at a fucking job. I milked them.
You mean that attempt?
At a temp service
Yeah, that
warehouse,
really
yeah.
kind of
It's
put
like
us
it's
in a
I
bad
learned the
situation too.
system. It's like they would say anything to motivate you. False dreams. They we gonna hire the people that do this and that, but when you do it,
But
they
this
just
is
gonna
the
wash
thing.
you out.
But this is the thing, and I always tell my staff this: everything I say, I produce. And if I haven't produced it yet, I'm in the process of making it happen, right? So you got to know your employer based on watch their actions. You can't sell me a dream. Your actions have to align with what you're saying.
Well, I got sold a dream a few times.
Well,
That
you
was
was young too.
this one job. I was graphic design. This one company. I ain't gonna say their name because they probably ain't even around no more. So basically, they brought me in as a temp, gave me an assignment, and
That's when I was
I
pregnant.
was so good at the assignment. I did all the work, boom, 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 and I worked myself out of the job because I did it so damn fast. Because he was making it seem like, okay, we're gonna hire you on as a graphic designer for the company, but I did all the work so fast. Oh, we don't need you now. I said, you motherfucker. So I hid all the files that I that I did. You
You're
know what I'm
telling on
saying?
yourself.
I hid all the files. So basically, they sued the temp service because the work and shit. I was like, oh
You
well,
are telling on
motherfucker. You know what I'm
yourself.
saying? So it's like, yeah. Shout out to that company. I hope you got the files. But go on, man.
No,
We gonna what? You still got more to say?
no, but this was most of the time. This is crazy. The reason why we busting out podcast episodes so much because we'll literally be sitting down having a conversation. I'm like, hey, let's put this on a podcast. Like we having this whole dialogue about this stuff, so we might as well record it.
And I always been told her it's about content. Content. We might have 2 viewers today, but shit, we might have
You know
100
what?
next year.
Honestly,
You
I
never
don't
know.
really care about the viewers, and I'm being honestly serious. This is my thing. This is my philosophy in life. Can't no man or woman close or open the door to God that's already destined for me. So for me, I'm just doing this because I actually enjoy this. I told you we was actually having a conversation. I'm like, hey, let's get on the podcast. So if nobody's listening, I'm enjoying just having a conversation with my husband. We just so
Ooh,
happen to be recording it.
coins. And me, I always like to plant seeds because I know throwing seeds around everywhere, something gonna grow. And on that note, we gonna tune on out and thank y'all for tapping in. Make sure y'all follow, like, subscribe wherever you see this at. And you can find me on I Am GrindFace on every platform. You can find her at.
Saniyyah, Mayo, everything.
Once again, we out.
Bye.